What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to another car review, and today we are with Michael and his brand new 2014 Ford Taurus. Now, you guys remember who've been watching my channel for a long time know that me and Michael do a ton of videos together. It's pretty much our thing. And you guys remember the video I made car shopping, where me and him went out. He didn't want to buy anything at the time. He went and checked out a 2005 Grand Cherokee 4.7 liter V8, and it was a bit of a piece of junk. That night when we got back, his 2000 Grand Cherokee, which you guys know was my first ever car review, it seems to have blown a PCM. So obviously we were running into an issue. Either one, or when I say we, I mean him, he had to either pay several $100, close to $1,000, to get a PCM replacement done on it to get it to run, or it's not worth it to him and he goes out and gets another car. So that's around the time we filmed Car Shopping Part 2. In fact, we run out of options, and there's a local dealership, which we wound up going to, as you guys know, Elite Motors, that had a 2011 Taurus that we were interested in that was a fully loaded limited, and we went and looked for it. They had already sold it, but they did have this one, which is a 2014 SE, which you guys know, if you're into the Ford kind of hierarchy when it comes to trim levels, the SE is the base. However, this one is pretty equipped. It has Sirius XM satellite radio, has Bluetooth audio and phone connectivity. It's got the sync system from Microsoft. It's got a pretty nice gauge setup on it. It's got the little screen in the middle of the gauge cluster, which you would think for an SE would not have as a base model. But do you have a comment?
It also has a courtesy wipe function,
yeah,
which is very useful.
It's a courtesy wipe function, and we don't know what it's for. If any of you guys that are like Ford technicians know what that is, please shoot me a comment down below and tell me what the heck it is so I can tell him, because neither of us know what it's good for. But under the hood, it's a 3.5 liter Cyclone V6. A lot of you guys were probably thinking, such as myself, if you didn't do your research basically on this car, you probably thought it was the EcoBoost twin turbo V6, which is also a 3.5 liter and is branded as a Cyclone engine on different various Ford websites. So we were confused when we first got in it. If you watched Car Shopping Part 2, you'll know that me and Michael were like, oh my goodness, this is an EcoBoost we're driving right here. It's not. There's a bit of a difference. I believe you said it was direct injected.
There's a big difference compared to the EcoBoost 3.5
and the Cyclone
and the Cyclone engine.
Yeah.
The turbo EcoBoost is the direct injection, and this one is port injection. So yeah, there's a couple other differences, but that's
the main
big ones. Yeah.
And the fact that it's naturally aspirated. It's not boosted at all. He does have plans to go single turbo, possibly twins with it. If possible, go twins with it. But I believe a single turbo makes it more dramatic, which would be sick. But since this is his daily,
it's already got boost functions.
It's got a pretty harsh torque curve.
That's what I meant to look up. I meant to look up a picture of the torque curve.
And the torque curve makes this thing feel like it's turboed. Like literally, you'll get on the gas, it'll be slow, and
it's not slow, but it'll go. But then at the top of the RPM range, it just throws you back. And
I believe that's variable valve timing doing a shop. If you guys don't know what variable valve timing is, if you've heard of Honda's VTEC and how that works, that's essentially what variable valve timing is. And this being a modern engine, it has variable valve timing. So it's gonna kick tail whenever it takes off. You probably about missed that. Like Ethan does that too. First time we drove down this road, Ethan drove right through this little spot right here because he didn't know there was a stop sign there.
It's kind of a pointless stop sign.
Yeah, it is, but
like so is this one. This is why my gas mileage is so trash.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reset that while we're at it.
But the car itself is loaded. It's a big car. For those who remember the Crown Victoria, I mean everyone's seen a Crown Victoria.
Oh god!
This man's getting 5 miles to the gallon on this thing right now. It's going up. It's going up. Don't get me wrong, but it's a nice car. If you guys remember the Crown Victoria, like I was saying a second ago, I mean, a lot of you probably know what that is because you've probably been pulled over by one, like this one. The Taurus is a very okay. Here we go. Pull.
Good pull.
There we go. All right.
Fine.
My dad's gonna kill me.
What'd I do? We're only going 60.
Oh, it feels a lot faster. I felt like we were going 80 or 90 already. I was like, all right, calm down. But if you remember the Crown Victoria, which, like I was saying, you've probably been pulled over by one at least once, like him. The Taurus shares that kind of size factor. This is what they refer to as a mid-size sedan.
Mid-size, my boots hang.
Right. It's a pretty big car. That dude in blue, if you guys don't know who that is where I get the style of my reviews from, obviously.
And he did an SHO.
He did an SHO, and he is a rather short guy. He's a bit shorter than I am. I've met him in person, that's why I know. He can literally fit in the trunk and have, like, it's like an apartment building to him in the trunk of that car, of this car as well, because since this is a front-wheel drive car instead of an all-wheel drive, trunk's actually a bit bigger since it doesn't really have a rear differential set up on the back. So it's a massive trunk. I've sat in the back of this car, and you get so much legroom even when the front seats are mildly adjusted as such. So it's a nice car. So as I was saying, it's front-wheel drive. It's a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter producing 288 to the crank. I don't know how much that would translate to the wheels, but we haven't gotten...
Probably around 240.
Yeah, about 240 to the wheels,
yeah.
Which is a massive upgrade over the Grand Cherokee Laredo that he had.
Pushing about 100 to the wheels.
Yeah. So I mean, you get the idea. This thing is a whole step ahead in every single way, shape, and form. 4 valves per cylinder versus 2 valves per cylinder that our his previous car and my car share. This thing is an absolutely awesome car compared to the Jeep. I told him this yesterday. I'm actually jealous of this car, and it's because of the size factor. It's a lot newer. Granted, this mileage on this car is a little on the high side. It's literally the same. It's like 2,000 miles less than the Jeep. So if you guys remember, the Jeep had 119,000 miles. This is 117,000 miles and is a 2014. I know a lot of you guys are saying he got ripped off because he bought a 2014 that had 100-something thousand miles on it. But we did the car check on the Carfax, and it came back perfectly clear. He's the second owner of this car, and it didn't really have a distinct owner because it was a commercial vehicle. It was used on a rental fleet line. So obviously that's not a great sign, but because that probably means someone has ragged it out before he got a hold of it. But he's got a lot of plans for this car, like I've said. We've been talking about a body kit. That was one of the first things we talked about when we were looking at this car, was is there any sort of customization options for it? And sure enough, we found the Duraflex body kit. We found several air intake systems, which are all pricey for this car because it's a modern setup. And the body kit, which I believe I probably just mentioned a second ago and forgot about already. It's got this kind of sporty look to it. It's more out there than the SHO body style. If you've seen the SHO, it does have a little bit of a difference in the body than compared to an SE or an SEL or a Limited. And it's the most notable difference is the back bumper. The back bumper on the Duraflex body kit is so much different from this. So we're still talking about that one. It's a little bit sketchy for him because, like I said, he does daily this car. This car is used on, he does take this car on construction sites. So the one problem we have is if we do put a body kit on this car, is he going to scrape on every single pebble in the construction site? Even though the fact is he's not planning on lowering this car just for the reason of putting the body kit on and still having clearance. So
I think it would be interesting to do coilovers on the rear.
Just to drop the rear end a little bit?
No, because the front already has coilovers.
Interesting. I wonder if it's been modified. It has actually. One of the first things we noticed about the car, we popped the hood, it has a kicker like power wire for a subsystem in it. So apparently someone was trying to wire a subsystem in this car. So he's probably jumping up and down right now because he's like, yes, I can put a sub in this car, but he's not going to. Really sure that I know of. So yeah, we're basically taking a loop around my little public road area. It's a long road too. But yeah.
I'm gonna pull you over, bro. God dang.
That's one thing to note as well, while we're on the topic of it. Everyone confuses this thing for a cop car because, as you guys saw in the edit at the beginning of this video,
I'm pretty sure it didn't shift out of
second or third.
Second.
As you guys probably saw in the edits, this thing is blacked out. Besides the front end, which he is going to be working on soon, I'm told, all the chrome bits have been plasticated black, and the wheels as well. And so everyone around here gets him confused as a cop because the cop cars in this area are black Tauruses, with the exception of a few Chargers and a couple of Explorers. So
I would like to get calipers painted red though.
Yeah, if he gets his calipers painted, it'll differentiate from a cop any day of the week. But yeah, this is a pretty cool car, like I've said. Would I recommend buying one? Yes, because this is the perfect family cruiser car. If you don't want to get an SUV, but you want something that's big enough that still gets really good gas mileage, and you don't care about the lack of turbos or that's front wheel drive, or as I like to call it, wrong wheel drive, then a Taurus is a good car to start with. If you get an SHO, definitely, you know, use it, because the SHO is designed as a sportier car. It's supposed to be like something you would rival against an Evo or an STI, just a lot bigger and a lot more power. Because if you did not know, the EcoBoost engines put out almost 400 horses to the crank.
I thought it was just 320.
That was the original. That was like when they first started making them in like 2010, something like that. But modern EcoBoost engines run about 400 to the crank. So imagine that on this car, though. It would be uncontrollable. It already, as you guys saw in the edit, it can skid a little bit. And like it wants to go.
Oh, I figured out a way to turn traction control off.
Is it some secret method you have to go through the freaking information screen for?
Yeah.
Lame. So yeah, it's a pretty nice car. Like I said, I would totally recommend buying one if you did not want to get an SUV such as an Explorer or a Tahoe or an Expedition or anything like that. This is a good place to start.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was looking for, was something big.
Yeah.
I was going to go for another Jeep, Grand Cherokee, but
we could not find one that was perfect.
Yeah.
Because the 2005 had a transmission problem, apparently. And the differential
leaking.
Yeah, the differential was leaking really bad. We looked at a couple of the cars. He actually wanted to get a Mustang, but his mom shot that down real fast.
She said, just act like it's not there. It's right there. I'm looking at it. No, it's not. Okay. Whatever.
But the one he was looking at was a 4.0 convertible. So it'd been funny. We could have been the 4.0 squad once again if he had gotten that. But it would have been.
We still are technically the 4.0 squad.
Not entirely.
It's either we're the 4.0 squad or we are the
Ford squad.
Ford squad.
Or the Blue Oval squad, whatever you want to call it.
No, that's gay.
But yeah, so I think we're just going to wrap it up here.
Yeah, we are. God dang.
After he runs an unmentionably high speed through a neighborhood.
We're going 35, kid. What are you talking about?
Lies. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna cut this off here. Thank you guys again so much for watching this car review. And it's been a long time coming to do another car review.
Yeah.
I've got a special one I might be trying to film this weekend. It's pretty sentimental and it's gonna be really sappy, so I'll catch up with you guys then. Well, not then, but I'll probably catch up to you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. See you guys soon.
Hey.